Hello ladies and welcome back to Chengi's World. It's Women Ask Wednesday and today I'm answering your questions, my darling. I am in my garden and I am going to be answering your questions today. Okay, so if you're new to my channel, welcome to Chengi's World. I am Chengi and you, my precious one, are my world. So if you're new to this channel, make sure you subscribe, you like, share, comment, and grow this channel with me and join the party. Make sure you hit the notification bell so that I know you're the one, and you can always work with me one-on-one, so you can just find the details in the description box. Let's get this party starting. So our question comes from RO120, and she commented on my video Future Faking and asked and made a request, and the request was as follows: could you do a video about jealousy and boundaries in relationship? How to act if your man has female friends, keeps in touch with his exes, and former friends with benefits. I really love your channel. Thank you so much for watching and thank you so much for your question. Yes. Ooh, okay. So let's get this one down packed straight away. Okay, so let's deal with the first one, which is female friends. Okay. Look, we all have, or one of us, or few of us have friends that are genuine friends. I have a very, very close guy friend of mine, maybe even two, that are really, really close to me. They are my friends. I feel I grew up with them from the age of 18. We are tight. We share everything. We talk for hours. It's that kind of party, okay? And I think if you're on my Instagram, you would have met him, one of which is Marlon. I've known Marlon since I was 18. I know this guy. We get on like a house on fire, etc., etc. But Marlon and I are very clear about boundaries. Why? Because I'm not trying to be Marlon's girl. Now, here's a scenario when it comes to relationships, heterosexual friendships, best friendships, or close friendships with the opposite sex. Here's the deal. Usually one of them, the reason why they're best friends and not lovers, or their relationship is platonic, is usually because one of them has set that boundary. One of them has said, no, I'm not feeling you that way. And it's usually the woman, not always, but it's usually the woman who is unwilling to take that extra step. So the reason why they are friends is because one of them has decided that they don't want a romantic relationship. Number two, the other reason why they might be friends, and very, very, very rarely, a very small percentage of the reason, is that both of them just don't feel that kind of way about each other. They just don't have that chemistry. They just are genuine. They probably grew up from the age of 3 together. They're just like brother and sister. So it really isn't that kind of, it's not that deep. Nevertheless, what that means is that it's up to both of them when they're in a relationship with somebody to create the boundaries with each other. Okay, so the boundaries are not so much about the boundaries that they set with you, like that your man, that you set with your man, or he, or vice versa. The boundaries are the boundaries that he sets with his friend. So take, for instance, my friend and I. We have a very clear unspoken boundary. Why? Because I'm not trying to step into the girlfriend's shoes, like I said earlier on. So I'm really happy for him to find somebody, be happy. I want to make sure that he's with a good woman. And if whatever choice he makes, whether I like it or not, that's the woman for him. If he's happy and I know that he's happy and he's not coming to me with any kind of story, I am having his back. And the first thing that I do is withdraw from that relationship. I take some steps back and I wait for him to come to me. So we don't talk every single day. I won't share everything about everything. I won't be knocking on his door. I don't show up unannounced. I don't show up on his birthday. I don't plan his birthday. I don't do any of these kind of intrusive territorial things that some female best friends do. Okay, because the point I'm making here is a good female best friend to your man is going to take a step back, and your man, it's up to your man to set that boundary and say, look, I found a girl, we're really happy and I'd like you to meet her, and she will ensure that she makes you feel comfortable in that relationship. Now, it's not always the case. Some women are territorial. Some women like that power trip. They like the idea that I was in his life first, I call the shots, he really has a thing for me, not for you, and that's just petty, in which case you would need to sort of have a conversation with your boo. Basically, you would have to say to him, I really feel that I don't really get on with so-and-so because of this reason, and I would be more comfortable if you would just create a little bit of distance. Now, you can only make that request when you and your boo are actually exclusive and building and working towards something. If you've just met this guy, it's gonna be a bad idea to start speaking against his friend, in which case you really want to be friendly with her. You want to make every single effort that is visible to him, and that won't come back to him. Do not roll your eye behind his back or behind her back, because somebody's going to catch you doing it. Do not gossip about her. Genuinely get into that relationship with a desire to get to know her as you would his sister, as you would any other relative in his life. Now, when you've made that effort in the beginning, and perhaps she's not reciprocal, or perhaps you're not making any inroads and you feel like she's really stepping into your territory and taking over some of the things that you should be doing, then that is a conversation you should be having with your man. And if he really truly cherishes you and truly loves you and wants to build something with you, he is going to speak to his girlfriend. Okay, he's going to tell her, girl, I love you, you know it's real, but you know what I mean, I just need you to give us some space. And if she really truly loves him, she will do that. Okay, there will always be that witch with a capital B who has issues with it, and that is going to be quite rare. Most cases, that woman probably doesn't want to be with your man anyway, so she's going to be okay to step back and let him have a relationship with you, but only when you have tried. I don't advocate getting into a situation with jealousy. I feel that you need to really manage that. If you're a jealous type of person, then you really need to look at the roots of why you feel a sense of ownership. But if you are genuinely feeling that kind of sense of jealousy, let that emotion be your guide. If you're not a jealous person like myself, I don't really get jealous. But if I start to feel a little bit kind of some kind of way, then I let that jealousy be my guide. There might be something off, something amiss here, in which case I would indeed sort of say something to my man. I would never ever address the woman. I would never have to deal with her, because what I want to see is how committed my man is to building this relationship with me. Always deal with your man. Now, it's always gonna be tricky if the family preferred her, etc. But if you find yourself in a kind of mess where really she has more power than your man, then you know that you're not the woman for him. You just need to keep it stepping. You're never going to win that war. Okay, so for instance, if I had a crush on my best friend and I really wanted him and I changed my mind about him at some point, to be honest, it's going to be very hard for any woman coming into his life to fight what we have, because what we have is history. What we have is, I know him that kind of well. I know my guy friend really well. I know him intimately. I know some of the things that maybe only a wife should know. Right, so any woman, if I decided that I wanted to have him as my boo and I'm tired of him being my mate, and maybe a new woman comes into his life and I feel some kind of way, she cannot compete with me. She simply cannot compete with me. I don't care how pretty she is. She cannot compete with our history. I don't care if she's better looking. I don't care if she's smarter. I don't care if she is the sweetest, loveliest person. She cannot compete with me because of the history that we have together, because of the foundations that we set up together. I'm always gonna have a sway, unless of course there's something so very special about this woman and this guy friend of mine is completely like not into me like that. So if you find yourself in that situation where the best friend is like really making a play for your man and she is like really going for him, to be honest, I would really pull away from that relationship. It's never going to be healthy. That is a very difficult relationship to be in, because you're hardly ever gonna win it. Okay, if you are gonna win it, it's gonna be a dirty fight. And you don't ever want to put yourself in a situation where you lose your dignity to ensure you get a man, right? He should be fighting for your relationship, just as you would be fighting for your relationship with your guy friend. Okay, so what we need to do here as well is to take into account that, now let's talk about these exes and these friends with benefits. No. Okay. No. Look, if your man is keeping friends with his exes and still calling his exes, look, that is enough for you to walk away. There is no other response. I am sorry, honey. I have no other response for you. We need to learn as women to walk away from situations that do not benefit us. Any man who is serious about you, keeping you and making you happy, number one, you shouldn't even know that he's doing it. right? The fact that he's doing it and doing it in your face means that there is no respect to your name, okay? There is no respect there. How can you even begin to start a relationship with no respect? The fact that you find him out means that he's dishonest, so there's no trust there, in which case both respect and trust are missing in that relationship. You got to keep that moving. There is simply nothing you can do about a guy who's still holding on to past fantasies. Now, the first thing that I would do is have that conversation with him. I always say, have the conversation. Somebody has to know why you're walking away. Never walk away and assume that that person knows why you're walking away. Always make sure that you give them an opportunity to answer for themselves, to give them an opportunity to respond as to what is going on in that situation. So what I would say to you is sit your man down and say to him, honey, I want to talk about something. Is this a good time for us to talk? And tell him, I really feel uncomfortable with your relationship with your exes and with your friends with benefits. I feel that it's inappropriate and it makes me feel insecure. It makes me feel unsure and it makes me distrust you. And I would really prefer for you to really begin to pull away or distance yourself from those relationships. Otherwise, I will have to do that. I will have to distance myself from this relationship because I don't want to be in a situation where I feel uncomfortable. Okay, so I always tell my clients to do 3 things. There's a 3-point formula when you're addressing something that is uncomfortable. The first thing we do is caress. We caress. We let him know how much we appreciate him. We let him know how much he means to us. We let him know that everything that he does for us is special and important. Then we address the situation. We tell him, look, this is the situation. This is how I feel about this situation. And then we correct the situation. And then you tell him exactly what you would want him and need him to do for you to feel better and feel that this situation has been dealt with. If you must follow those 3 processes, you must build him up, you must address it head on, and you must indeed give him correction. Otherwise, he's not going to know exactly what to do. Sometimes we think men do, sometimes they simply don't know how they're going to deal with it. So you need to be very clear about how you want him to deal with it, and then you got to take time to observe and see and give him enough time and enough space to do it and to prove to you that he is worthy to be in your life. At the end of the day, you don't have time for a guy who's not serious. You don't have time for a guy who doesn't know what he wants. So hopefully that answers your question. So make sure that you address it and see how it goes. If you don't see any changes and this situation persists, honey, look at here. It's raining men. Go watch my video. It is raining men. There are plenty of fish in the sea. I know you've heard it, but you really have to have an abundance mindset when you're out here on these streets, when you're out here in a relationship, when you're out here dating. You must have an abundance mindset. You must have a mindset that there is plenty more. There's never a situation that you should be in where you feel stuck to this one man. Even if you emotionally feel really close and feel that there's something special, if the relationship is not working out, then you need to keep on moving. So I hope that answers your question. Always make sure you keep your dignity, your integrity. Always make sure you're a lady no matter what. Never subject yourself or put yourself in a situation where you have to a ghetto or gully or any kind of street. Okay, you should never ever have to edit yourself downwards. You should never ever have to diminish yourself, act in a way that's undignified in order to keep a man. No, honey, it's not that kind of party. High value girls don't really have time to mess around with silly boys or men who don't know what they want, or men who don't know how to clear the emotional space. So that's from me to you. I hope that answers your question. Thank you so much for sending it, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video. See you soon. Love you lots. Take care of you.